Hello and welcome to the last of the main section of this tutorial series on Scratch and an introduction to block coding. This will be adding the final bit of code to our game, and this will kind of be the point on which you can head off on your own and start customizing and building it out as you see fit. The last thing that needs to be added to this game, and which we'll cover in this video, are your win and loss screens and conditions. And these are pretty simple to do, and we do these in the level design, or in this case, we're going to do it in the level design. You don't have to do it in the level design. We're going to go to costumes, and I'm going to create a new costume, paint it from scratch, name this costume Win, and using the text tool, fill it in with, this color, and use a pixel style font, and then write in you win. Then grab my selection tool, make it nice and big, and anchor it nicely there in the center. You win. Perfect. You can obviously get much fancier with this. This is very, very basic. I'm going to right click on it, duplicate it. In this one, I'm going to switch to you lose. And it looks like I do have to make it a little smaller using the select tool and putting it in the middle there. So you win, you lose. Costume is going to be called lose. Right, so we have level 1 costume, level 2 costume, win costume, and lose costume. Let's go to code. And you'll remember this code from before. So when we get to level 2, change level by 1, broadcast level 2. We're going to add another one of these. I like to duplicate things as opposed to redo it all by scratch by dragging it in. So I'm just going to right click here on the wait until, hit duplicate, drop it under here. And we have the items appear again in level 2, which means that our total points, if we collect all those donuts, will be 10. And then instead of switching the costume to level 2, I'm going to switch it to win. I'm not going to change the level because it's not actually a new level, so I will delete that. But I'm going to keep this broadcast at the bottom here. And we are going to broadcast a new message. And this message is going to be called win. So we'll switch costume to win and broadcast win. I'm also going to put our lose condition in here, but I am going to put this in a new block because I have to separate it out because I don't want to have to wait until these things happen, right? The lose can happen at any time, whereas the win can only happen after all these other things have happened. So when the game starts, we are going to wait until, and then we're going to go to our operators and equals, right? We're going to wait until our lives essentially equals 0. So go to variables, choose the lives variable, wait until lives equals 0. We're going to switch the costume of the back or of the level sprite to lose. And we are going to broadcast, which is in the events actually, broadcast block. Not level 2, not win, but a new message called lose. Okay, let's do a quick check here. So I'm just going to walk my way through eating all these donuts. Go into level 2. Grab these ones. You win, perfect, switch that backdrop, but obviously everything's still here and still kind of zipping around, which we don't want. We're going to also restart, and I'm just going to get this guy killed 3 times and make sure that our lose broadcast there also works. But you'll notice that he does respawn as well. So that's the last thing that we have to take care of. So let's build some little duplicate blocks here. We're going to actually use these in all the sprites that aren't the level sprite. So I'm going to stop the game, reset it, stop it. So I'm going to click on Scratch, make sure your Scratch sprite is selected. And this is a little bit different. So instead of choosing the normal when flag clicked, we're going to do a when I receive broadcast block. and drop this in here. And so when I receive the broadcast win, I am going to hide, right? Because we want everything to disappear. I'm going to hide. And we're going to also stop all other scripts in this sprite. I guess I could also just put in stop all. Maybe it's a little redundant. Then I'm going to create another one, event. When I receive lose, I'm going to hide. Okay, that's all I'm going to do. Sorry, we're going to also add a stop all here on this one. Okay, and then what you can do to duplicate these two onto the other sprites is literally click and drag. The only one you're not going to click and drag it onto is the level sprite. So I'm just going to go here, drop it there. You'll notice it gives a little jiggle when you mouse over it. That lets you know that it is ready to receive it. Right there. And that is the lose block in all of those. Then I'm also going to drag the win block into all of those. There we go. Now, let's just double click on it. You can see that it showed up here. Receive. Perfect. Looks like they're dropped in. Let's give it a little test. So click and drag over here just so we can quickly move through the testing. You can actually program in like a way to jump between levels, but you don't have to. You win. Everything disappeared. And what happens when I lose? Everything disappears. Good. There was one thing I noticed, just as a little aside here, with the level switching. So when we start this level switching here, let's say I grab this one and then I grab this one. You'll notice that I don't respawn. The level switches behind me, which I'm not actually that big of a fan of. So what I am going to do is I'm going to just modify this slightly. Go to my level 2. I'm going to choose a spawn location. So I think I actually want my guy to spawn right here. And if I go here, do I have a level 2 broadcast? I do not. So looks like that may be just something I missed in an earlier video. But if you go to events and you go to when I receive level 2, what I would like to just add is just a little motion block, go to XY coordinate, and I just want to go right up like there. That'll be my spawn point for level 2. Okay. And that, I believe, will cover everything in the game. So let's just make sure this is all good. I grab this one, grab that one, and bam, spawn there. Perfect. Only problem is we do need that little bit of a pause there to get these guys going where we want them. And that is about it. That is the basics of creating a little Scratch game. Obviously, there's more you can do. There's so much more. But this kind of concludes the basic coding elements of this tutorial series. There will be more videos in the tutorial series based upon this exact game. But it will be sort of more towards the making the aesthetics neater, adding sort of extra functionality like things like projectiles or animation. But this is the basic code for a working game. So hopefully this helped those who are wanting to learn a little bit about Scratch and block coding. And hopefully you'll subscribe and watch a few more of my videos. Come back here for help. I always respond in the comments as well if you do have questions. Thanks a lot.